In Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, you can often smell kimchi and Vietnamese pho mixed together. This is especially true in District 7, which many call the Korean Quarter. Here, Korean families live in tall buildings like Sky Garden. They speak Korean, and their children do homework. Shops have signs only in Korean. It feels like a small piece of Seoul has moved to Vietnam. Meet Lee Min-jun, a software engineer, and his wife, So Young. 3 years ago, they moved their family from Seoul to a bigger home in Ho Chi Minh City. In Seoul, they paid a lot of money for a small apartment. Now, their monthly costs, including their children's international school, are about half. Min-jun says that in South Korea, they worked too much, sometimes 14 hours a day. Housing was very expensive, and their children had to go to many private schools. Life was very stressful. Here in Vietnam, things are different. Min-jun finishes work earlier, and his children learn English easily. The family can save money. This family is not alone. Many Koreans are now moving to Vietnam. The South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs says about 180,000 Koreans live in Vietnam. This is the biggest Korean group in Southeast Asia. These families are not poor, and they are not running from danger. They are leaving South Korea because of the strong pressure in their society. Life in South Korea can be very hard and very competitive. This story is about why so many Koreans are choosing Vietnam. They are looking for a new, better life, sometimes called the new Korean dream. Why are they making this big change? We will explore this question. 2. Leaving home. Many people in South Korea today use a term called Hell Joseon. It combines the word hell with Joseon, which was the name of Korea a long time ago. This term started around 2015. It shows how many young Koreans feel about their country. They feel tired and disappointed with the strong pressure to succeed all the time. One big problem is the very high cost of houses, especially in Seoul. Buying a home there is extremely difficult. Research shows that a young Korean worker might need to save money for 86 years to buy an apartment in Seoul. This is twice as long as it was 10 years ago. The average price for an apartment in Seoul can be around 1.2 billion won, which is about 873,000 US dollars. Because houses are so expensive, many young people cannot afford to get married or start a family. This creates big money problems and changes how society works. Another challenge is the Korean work culture. It is famous for being very fast, called pali-pali. This hurry way of working helped Korea grow a lot, but now it makes many people feel very tired. Many workers have to work long hours, sometimes 14 hours a day. There is not much time left for family or fun. People often feel a lot of stress from their bosses and from the company rules. They might have to stay late or go to after-work dinners, even if they do not want to. For example, Jung-ho, a 29-year-old, said his old office in Seoul felt like military service. He made good money, but he had no personal life or energy. These difficult situations, like high housing costs and long working hours, make many Koreans want to leave their home country. They are looking for a different, easier life somewhere else. This wish to leave is so strong that some people call it the Taljo, meaning escape hell. 3. A hard life for children. Life for children in South Korea can be very hard. The country's education system puts a lot of stress on young people. This system is a major reason why many Korean families think about moving out of the country. From a very early age, children feel strong pressure to do well in school. Their childhoods are often spent studying instead of playing. The most important event for many students is the College Scholastic Ability Test, or CSAT. This is a special 8-hour exam taken once a year. It is so important that all air traffic in Korea temporarily stops during the test to avoid disturbing the students. The results of the CSAT decide which university a student can attend. In turn, this choice often decides their future job, their income, and their social standing. Because of this, the test creates immense stress for students and their parents. Most Korean students also attend private after-school academies known as hagwons. These extra classes are very expensive. In 2024, families spent an average of 410,000 won, about $311, each month per child on private tutoring. Nearly 80% of all students from elementary school through high school now go to hagwons. This makes school days incredibly long, often extending to 12 to 16 hours. Students might attend several academies, eating quick, unhealthy food like junk food and drinking caffeine to keep going. This intense educational pressure has serious effects on children's mental health. Many students report feeling sad or depressed. Studies show that about 1/4 of male students and 1/3 of female students experience depression. South Korea also has one of the highest youth suicide rates in the world. The pressure starts very early. Almost half of all young children are enrolled in private educational programs. Some families even joke about toddlers taking entrance exams to get into the best kindergartens. Sometimes 10-year-olds even ask their parents if they were born just to do homework. They might even wish they were never born because of the stress. This difficult situation impacts families deeply. Parents often have to make great financial sacrifices for their children's education. The education system feels like a game where children's early years are lost to a very expensive and damaging competition. These pressures, combined with other high costs, mean many young Koreans decide not to marry or have children. South Korea now has the lowest birth rate globally. In 2023, the average Korean woman had only 0.72 children, which is much lower than the 2.1 children needed to keep the population stable. This very low number means there will be fewer young people to support the country in the future. It is a huge problem for South Korea's society and economy. The difficulty of raising children in such a competitive environment pushes many to seek a different path. 4. A new place to live. Many Koreans choose Vietnam when they look for a new place to live. This country offers many good things that make life easier and less stressful than in South Korea. One big reason is job opportunities. Large Korean companies have invested a lot in Vietnam. For example, Samsung has put billions of dollars into its operations there, making almost half of its smartphones in Vietnam. LG has also built many factories and facilities. This creates a good environment for Korean managers, engineers, and even people who want to start their own businesses. The presence of these companies also creates a need for other Korean-speaking services. This includes things like accounting firms, legal offices, and even Korean restaurants and shops that cater to the Korean community. The cost of living is much lower in Vietnam. Compared to South Korea, overall living costs are about 47 to 55% less. Rent is a big part of this saving. A small apartment in the center of Ho Chi Minh City costs around $310 to $343 each month. In Seoul, a similar apartment could cost much more, often double. Daily expenses like food, transportation, and utilities are also cheaper. This means families can save money and have a better quality of life. For instance, some Korean families spend about $2,800 a month in Vietnam, which is half of what they would spend in Seoul for the same lifestyle. Vietnam offers a more relaxed way of life. The weather is often warm and tropical all year round, which is a nice change from Korea's cold winters and hot summers. People can enjoy more family time and a slower pace. Children have more time to play outside and enjoy hobbies, instead of spending long hours in private schools. This less stressful environment helps families feel happier and healthier. Moving to a new country can be hard, but Vietnam has a large and helpful Korean community. In cities like Ho Chi Minh City, there is a special area called District 7, known as Little Seoul. About 11,000 Koreans live here. They have Korean grocery stores, beauty salons, medical clinics, and many Korean restaurants. This strong community helps new families find their way. They can get advice on housing, find jobs, and make friends easily. This makes the move much smoother and helps Koreans feel at home, even far away from their home country. 5. 3 Korean stories. Many Koreans choose to move to Vietnam for different reasons. Their personal stories show the hopes and changes people seek. These examples highlight how life can be different outside South Korea. First, there is Park Dong-min, who used to be an engineer for Samsung in Seoul. He felt frustrated by the strict rules and slow progress in big Korean companies. In 2022, Park moved his family to Ho Chi Minh City and started his own technology company. He found it easier to get funding from investors in Vietnam, raising over $2 million. His company now employs 25 workers. Park pays $800 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment, much less than the $2,500 he paid for a smaller one in Seoul. His children go to an international school for $12,000 a year, which is also less than what Korean families spend on extra classes in Korea. They learn Korean, English, and Vietnamese, gaining a wider view of the world. Next, consider Kim Ji-eun and her family, known as a geese family. In 2020, Mrs. Kim moved to Ho Chi Minh City with her 12-year-old daughter and 9-year-old son. Her husband stayed in Seoul to work. In Korea, her children studied from early morning until late at night, often until 11 p.m., including many private classes. They were exhausted and stressed. In Vietnam, they attend an international school. School finishes earlier, by 3:30 p.m., giving them time for sports and hobbies. They are now excited about learning again. The family spends about $35,000 a year on school and living, which is half of what similar education in Western countries would cost. Mrs. Kim's daughter is fluent in English and speaks some Vietnamese, planning to study abroad later. Finally, there are Lee Sung-ho and his wife, Young-mi. They are a retired couple who wanted a more comfortable life. In 2023, they sold their small apartment in Seoul for $450,000. They bought a spacious beachfront apartment in Da Nang for $180,000. Their monthly budget of about $1,800 covers everything, much less than their costs in Seoul, where they worried about money. In Da Nang, they enjoy warm weather and daily beach walks. A helpful Korean community provides familiar services. Mr. Lee volunteers teaching Korean, and Mrs. Lee leads a Korean culture group. They feel they have found a peaceful life with financial security, enjoying time they did not have in busy Seoul. 6. Not always easy. Moving to a new country brings many new things, but it is not always easy. Many Koreans who move to Vietnam find different challenges that they did not expect. First, the way Vietnamese people feel about Koreans is not always simple. Korean companies invest much money in Vietnam. This helps the economy and creates many jobs. Big companies like Samsung and LG are major investors, bringing technology and business to the country. This makes many Vietnamese people happy and thankful for the economic growth. However, some local people also have concerns. In popular areas like District 7 in Ho Chi Minh City, where many Koreans live, house prices have risen a lot. This makes it difficult for Vietnamese families to afford homes in these areas. Some feel that wealthy Korean families buy up good properties, which can cause problems for locals. This can lead to some feelings of resentment among the Vietnamese population. Workplaces can also be a source of problems. Korean managers and Vietnamese workers sometimes have different ideas about how work should be done. Korean work culture often has a strong hierarchy, meaning that respect for senior people is very important, and long working hours are common. Many Vietnamese workers find these practices hard. They might prefer a better work-life balance. Some Vietnamese staff have said that Korean managers can be too strict. There have even been cases where Vietnamese workers felt managers showed unfair attitudes, leading to arguments or even strikes in some companies. Koreans living in Vietnam also face personal difficulties. One big challenge is the language barrier. While Korean communities exist, daily life outside these areas requires knowing Vietnamese. This can make simple tasks like going to the market or talking to local people very frustrating. Another problem is with visas. People cannot just stay in Vietnam forever. They need to renew their visas often. This means dealing with government paperwork and rules that can change. This uncertainty makes it hard for some families to plan for the very long term. For healthcare, Vietnam has hospitals, but their quality might not be as high as the hospitals in Seoul. If a Korean family member has a serious health problem, they might need to travel back to Korea or to another country for better medical care. Even after living in Vietnam for many years, some Koreans still feel like outsiders. They might learn the language and make friends, but they can still feel separate from the local culture. Starting a new business can also be tricky because of different laws and business rules. So, while Vietnam offers a new life, it also has its own set of difficulties and cultural differences that people must learn to manage. 7. A Korean world in Vietnam. In Ho Chi Minh City, there is a special part of District 7 that many people call Little Seoul. This area is home to a large number of Korean families. When you walk here, it can feel like you are in South Korea, not Vietnam. You can see many Korean restaurants, shops selling Korean food, beauty salons, and even clinics where doctors speak Korean. Children can attend Korean language schools, and adults can go to Korean churches. This makes it very easy for Koreans to live their daily lives without learning much Vietnamese or mixing with local culture. This Korean bubble offers comfort and a sense of home for many. It helps families feel safe and connected to their own traditions while living in a new country. They can buy familiar products and communicate easily. However, this way of living also brings challenges. It can make it hard for Koreans to truly become part of Vietnamese society. Many Korean children, even after living in Vietnam for years, learn very little of the local language. Parents might mostly do business and socialize only with other Koreans. This cultural isolation means that Korean residents might miss opportunities to deeply understand Vietnamese culture. They might not form close friendships with local people or gain insights into the broader Vietnamese market. In turn, Vietnamese people might miss out on chances to learn from Korean experiences or build closer international connections. This bubble keeps the two cultures largely separate. This movement of Korean families to Vietnam and their life in these separate communities is a kind of lifestyle brain drain for South Korea. These are often educated, middle-class families who choose to leave their home country. They are not running from poverty, but from the intense pressures of Korean society, like long work hours and costly education. They are looking for a life with more balance and less stress. This trend highlights the social difficulties that South Korea's rapid economic growth has created. When successful families decide to emigrate, it signals deeper issues within the country's social model. South Korea needs these young, skilled families for its future, but they are choosing a different way of life in Vietnam. 8. A look at the future. This final chapter looks to the future. Many Koreans chose to move to Vietnam for important reasons. They wanted to leave behind the difficult life in South Korea, known for its very expensive houses, long work hours, and high-pressure education system for children. These families looked for a life with less stress, lower costs, and more time to spend with loved ones. Their move showed a strong desire for a balanced life, not just earning a lot of money. This trend has big meanings for South Korea's future. The country is losing many skilled and educated families. This is like a lifestyle brain drain. It makes the problem of a very low birth rate and an older population even bigger. This also makes people question if South Korea's way of building its economy is truly good for its citizens in the long run. The country has achieved much economic success, but this has come with a high cost to its people's happiness and overall well-being. Vietnam, too, is changing very fast. Today, it offers many new chances. But as Vietnam continues to grow, it might begin to face some of the same problems that South Korea has. For example, houses could become much more expensive. Schools might become more competitive and stressful. Workplaces could start demanding longer hours from employees. For Vietnam, it will be important to learn from South Korea's experiences. It needs to develop its society in a way that helps its people live good, happy lives, not just get good jobs. The story of Koreans moving to Vietnam tells us a wider truth about people everywhere. It shows that everyone wants a life that is rich and meaningful. They want enough time for their families, good education for their children without too much worry, and affordable places to live. Countries need to think about more than just money or growth. They must create societies where people can truly feel balanced and live well. As we think about these journeys, what do you believe is the most important part of finding a truly good life?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.